Thank you for being with us. You could be anywhere else, as my foxy friend says, but you chose to be here with us. Another episode of Would You Invest in This, together with Taki and Legend, everybody from the Realms team, so we're deep into governance. And today we're looking at Hurupay, the future of global banking, or an aggressive experiment in tokenomics and governance. Let's explore. So what is Hurupay? It's one of those stablecoin powered neobanks of the global south. They kind of work with platforms that cater to freelancers like Fiverr, people per hour. And what they do is they convert instantly their payouts from whatever currency they're paid to USDC or USDT. And what they've done is they've seen growth. They claim they have over $500,000 in revenue, in annual revenue. They've hit volume of $7.2 million in a month, and they're doing well, apparently. And they're also raising capital with MetaDAO through the Futarki system and the ownership coins. We'll talk about what exactly they own and what are some of the risks. And it's very interesting because it also includes the buy wall. So these guys want to raise minimum $3 million, and whatever excess funds they gather over the $3 million, they're going to keep them and they're going to place them into a buy wall, which is going to be 3% under the ICO price. So we don't know their maximum raise, we know their minimum raise. It's an uncapped raise, and unlike other MetaDAO raises, which return the money, they're going to keep them and they're going to place them into the buy wall. They have some funky tokenomics with 42% going to the team allocation, and they're asking for a $250,000 monthly allowance. At $3 million, that's about a year of burn rate. How do they make the money? Their money, they've installed a toll booth on their bridge. So from currency being paid by the platforms, converting into USDC or USDT, they take 1%. So pretty good. That's it. That's mostly it as a TLDR. I want to ask the opinion of both Taki and Legend here. I want your initial reaction to the narrative, initial reaction to the raise, the use of ownership coin. You take it. You'll decide where it's important for you to start from. Who wants to start? Just start.
I want to hear from Legend. I always like his takes, and I always like to riff off his astute commentary while I'm promoting the live on the interwebs.
I mean, on what aspect do we want to talk about, like governance-wise, or like tokenomics-wise, or narrative-wise? Like, there's three, categories we can go into. And narrative-wise, I think it's it's another new bank raising on the chain, on the Solana chain. We got Surfcash as the last one, but not on Futarki. We got on Star.fun, which was way lower evaluation with also lower spending, or I think similar. I don't think they're doing anything different, like besides the auto convert into SDC. It's a very easy, say, feature to copy and offer as a competitor. Like Avicii, Surfcash, Ederfi, even neobanks from EVM can also do the same and offer better services and features for the users. So I'm interested how they will grow more, I guess, because using MetaDAO as a ICO platform is it's another marketing strategy for them, because it's a lot of users that got their eye now, and people gonna sign up, gonna try the platform. So it's a win-win for them. They get to raise and they get more users, so they don't lose in any way. Tokenomics wise, it's one of the ugliest I've ever seen in my life. Of course, I'm joking, but the 42% to the team, it's maybe in traditional finals it will be okay. But I think everybody on crypto-wise got how do you say, pampered a little bit, seeing this such high number. We normally see 35, even lower, 20, 15, and as low as possible, maybe 10, which it's giving props to the team. Governance wise, it's the same Futarchy with a little twist, I guess, flavor on this one, which is the bid wall. I think the distribution, the ICO kind of changed. It's not like pro rata anymore in a way. It's more first come, first serve till the 3 million in a way, because I don't think you're that likely to want to go to the bid wall, your money to go to the bid wall, because it's of course I'm speculating, but if the price doesn't move immediately up, people will just dump into the bid wall, and eventually will just disappear, because the markets are horrible. We can expect to get horrible, so let's say it's a kind of a safe way to kind of liquidate if you don't like, if you literally paper hands, because Solana traders most likely just don't hold more than 20 seconds in a way. So it's gonna be interesting watching this one. So yeah, it's kind of first come first serve. You kind of expect to get not that much of a 3 million. I think they will raise maybe 3 million. Good scenario, not that much. I think maybe 5. Also good scenario, conservative. Let's see if they don't manage to raise 3 million. I was even thinking if they're gonna take any money or just cancel it, which I'm not really sure, because of MetaDAO marketing in a way. Like, it's pretty popular these days. And that's mostly it. Governance wise, tokenomics wise, and narrative wise. On my overall,
I hear you.
general
I hear
opinion.
you. I'm gonna though give some context, and I'm gonna say that a 6x multiple, which is 500k annual revenue, while they need about 3 million to run the company for a year. Just looking at the burn rate they have, is not that bad for crypto terms. Usually, neobanks and every ICO out there has a way higher multiple revenue to valuation. So they're going low. At the same time, they're just looking at a 1 year burn rate. I hear all your governance narrative points, and I'm gonna add to them. Before I go there, though, because I also want to talk about a little bit about what's happening in Solana. This is an EVM. This is a base and CELO project mostly. Let's talk about this after we hear Taki's take on this, on Hurupay and the governance, the narrative, and the ICO.
Yeah, I mean, this is a MetaDAO ICO, so it's bound to be popular to a certain extent. We've seen it on the timeline lately. It's the standard formula with the bid wall that first was not the buybacks. It's called bid walls now, with some slight differences, I've been told. That was the first time we saw this was with the previous ICO on Ranger. And now, especially with the market conditions ever since the announcement of the ICO and the ICO going live yesterday, we've seen the market going horribly down, and the trades for this launch with the uncapped raise and anything more than the 3 million to be going into the bid wall, basically Pampanomics, let's say it's very interesting. You're both making a point about the pros and cons of whether this is a big ask or a normal ask for a raise, regardless of the market conditions currently these days. I also saw that they've been active on Base, on Ethereum. They've received some grants, from the EVM ecosystem, something from Stellar as well. This means that this is a team that has been around for a while. I'm not really, the whole market of FX trading is huge, of course. This also feels under the neobank narrative, which might inform on whether this looks like a small or a large ask on the raise amounts. Now, governance-wise, we have all the typical, MetaDAO structures with, using Futarchy for decision-making. The advantage of the team when it comes to proposals, which is something I don't like at all, which seems to be more and more a standard practice, giving a team, a head start when it comes to proposals. This is not, in my opinion, a good ownership feature, let's say. But then you have the assets being controlled by the MetaDAO program, and supposedly you can, after the raise is complete, you can also pull an instruction on chain and complete the raise. Anyone can do that permissionlessly. Now, how easy that is to do, I don't know. And one last thing for this statement for now is I would like to see the revenue they claim they have. Where it's going after the raise, and how much of a transparency we can at the moment, which I haven't been able to find. I haven't looked that deep yet. We can do this during the live now, but I don't see the revenue at the moment, which is something that I also don't like in terms of the whole ownership narrative on this one. One more thing that I noticed also is that Legend, did you touch upon the tokenomics a bit? Like, I see there's a 40% that it's almost a 40% that goes to this raise, to the ICO, and then you have another 42% that goes to the team. So you have the 42% to the team, but they're also getting an allowance of 250K per month, plus a 7% that goes to previous investors on a 2-year vest. The team is going to get their tokens on a 3-year lockup. I don't know if we can find any more details on that. Any thoughts?
Yes, I have also plenty. Like, I don't like this. They kind of de-risk their lives, and they have 9 employees. They're asking for 250K per month. This is Silicon Valley kind of executive pay, plus tokens. It's not just the pay. They're getting hard USDC, and while others are holding the token. And when it comes to Futarki, if the insiders are holding 50% of the token, 42 the team, 7% early investors, I mean, you have a lot of market moving power like in Futarki to participate in the whole system. Now, ownership tokens. According to MetaDAO, let's talk a little bit about the points of ownership tokens, and let's pin them down on how they apply to Hurupay. What do you think? So
Yes, let's do it.
the legal ownership that is done through Marshall Islands LLC, which according to MetaDAO, the token holders collectively own the intellectual property, the brand, and the treasury. That's at least the argument, which, we've never seen anybody take a legal case in the Marshall Islands, and then, we haven't seen this being attacked ever. And the token holders, they just hold, a membership interest in a way to that brand. They can't really claim it themselves. No sole token holder owns the whole. You touched on the buybacks and and how this is not really a dividend program. There's going to be buybacks after the salaries. If we kind of think that they'll need 250 month and their annual revenue is okay, I don't expect any buybacks happening anytime soon. Like they're operating at a 200K a month loss. Over. So not very bullish on that.
If I may, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. From the MetaDAO page, I see that they claim they have 500K in revenue in the past 12 months. So that's very small compared to the runway ask.
Yes, they're operating at a huge loss. While they have 9 employees, about what, $35,000 a month each. It's a lot. It's a lot for someone, being the middleman and trying to empower freelancers from the global south in Africa and Southeast Asia. And who builds a company on a 1-year burn rate? It feels too short term. Like, I would expect them if they actually they should be raising more if that's the case. And my last argument, which I really don't like with this buy wall, is how isn't that market manipulation? How is that possible? Where you say, I will peg the price at a 3% loss, where you like you fix the price in a way. I think this is market manipulation. It's a liquidity trap, where you think that, hey, I'll put my money in this ICO, and I know if it doesn't moon, I'll take a 3% loss and exit. It's a marketing move, 100%.
I mean, the sad reality of things is that for whatever reason, buybacks have been a very necessary, move by any launch. And this is kind of stupid. Like, why would you want to do buybacks, especially like after your launch? And even worse so on this one, in my opinion. Why, like, we're going to take all the excess money from the amount that we want to take as a team, and we're going to put it as a buy wall. And for example, with Ranger, we're almost a month after that, and it's like what 20% down, and they've had how many proposals for buybacks for bid wall, whatever the terminology is already, and that's in a little more than a month. And I really don't like the fact that as a founder you're entering into a raise capital mode, and you have to abide to the rules of the degens out there. And you have to satisfy them by pulling this essentially marketing stunt that requires you to, put part of your runway to throw it away to support the price so that other people can dump on you. Unless you have a very good reason to want to do that, which is something I'm not very comfortable in touching this here. But it doesn't feel right, and I don't like the fact that it's becoming more and more the norm, and it seems that founders are complying to this market request, let's say, if it's even the market, and not, let's say, your holders.
No,
and
but
holders are they?
But this is the marketing part. This is why I'm saying this is marketing. Hurupay is not a Solana project. They are operating through EVMs, and this is a Silo-based project. Why are they raising on Solana? Because MetaDAO is hyped, and they can raise a lot of money. And this buy wall, they claim the MetaDAO amazing buy wall, this is a marketing tactic, because the retail investor says, oh, look, this has a chance to moon. But if it doesn't, I can at least take a 3% loss and exit. And they're not gonna use Solana to power their app. There's not gonna the only Solana part is governance and the raise. So, and as we discussed, like, you don't really have the brand rights, the IP rights, the program rights. There's no program updates. There's no buybacks with the traditional sense of buybacks. There's going to be the buy wall. It's going to be depleted. And then what? Since the company is operating at a $200,000 a month loss, because as you said, 500K revenue a year is like what 16% of what they need. So there's not going to be any excess money to do buybacks and get the token price go up. And so ownership is if these guys abandon the boat and there's a little bit money left in the treasury, think about it just like the Mountain Capital dissolved, it's going to be given to the holders. Mango did it so much better, eh? Like, if we're gonna talk about the dissolving a treasury and how it's done. But like, just do a little bit of math. They're raising 3 million, which covers 1 year of their runaway. How much money is gonna be left if they actually abandon project? When are they gonna abandon project? In 2 days? No. They're gonna abandon project if they need to 11 months from now. And what you gonna take? Nothing. So it's all marketing. It's good marketing. Bravo to MetaDAO for the marketing. Bravo to MetaDAO for managing to do all this hype. having 50% as insiders to cook the market and having a 300 bips advantage when you're pushing proposals, man, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can liquidate the treasury whenever you want. You can do anything you want. I know people talking about money laundering. There's no money laundering here. There's no, like, it's a slow rag if at its nature. That's a bad money laundering scheme in my mind. There's it's just high valuation. Get good salaries. This is what's happening. Get a big allowance. Live a year as a king.
Yeah, the minus 300 bips. It's funny because now it's kinda I see the correlation with the bid wall, which is minus 3% also down. So it's kind of impossible to kind of veto in a way you need to trade no constantly. It's optimistic governance all the way to the bid wall exhausted. So yeah, it's a funny correlation, and I'm noticed all of the Hurupay entity shares have been moved to the footer key governance SPC, which I assume is the one they did with MetaDAO.
Is that the Borg?
Maybe?
Is that the Borg that you
Okay,
were
so yeah,
describing?
makes sense. So I guess yeah, I think it's related to the board, if I'm not wrong, and so that's the way the market will probably enforce the IP or some law breaking stuff. I'm not sure, I'm not experienced as well on this type of stuff, so it's gonna be one funny year. Also in this market, which is also very hard. So it's a good marketing move. Like I'm not, shading in any way. Like Hurupay is doing a good move. MetaDAO is going to do a good move because they're gonna have like MetaDAO owns the liquidity pools of the Hurupay, so they get all the fees of all the market activity. So in general, it's revenue for both of them in some sort of way. I'm pretty sure Hurupay can make some Solana accounts as a onboarding process for this. It's not that difficult, even if they had EVM based accounts before. In general, yeah, it's not like I understand the expenses are higher than what they're earning right now, which is fine. I think they will, they want to push growth as maximum as possible, but you can expect for it to fail at the end of the year, which also fine. Like it's just all of nothing at this point. So it is what it is, I guess. But it's good, both of them. Myself, I'll probably not invest through the ICO. I'll probably let, if possible, the bid wall to get exhausted. Then it's a possibility to buy spot. Then, which you can also people will put liquidity themselves with lower fees, so you can get a better price on spot markets than the ICO. I think.
Mr. Taki?
I see some chatter. Sorry, I'm also researching online. I see some chatter around that, like the lack of a refund mechanism is some kind of a red flag for this ICO. I come back to what we were saying earlier about the Mango dissolution, which for whatever reason Mango, with its rights and wrongs as one of the first DAOs and the first proper DAOs on Solana, and a good example, I would say, of a DAO in terms of how it was set up, regardless of how things ended up going when the whole Avi situation happened. The ability to offer the rage quit option to your holders seems more and more important, in my opinion, and it should be something that comes right out of the gate when you're launching a project. That's one of the things that we're putting it together with the authority tokens, which I think it's a much better definition, manifestation, let's say, of achieving true ownership in a programmatic way and not through legal papers and everything. Not that legal papers are bad, don't get me wrong, but I want to digress too far into that. But I wanted to understand that, to hope that people get the message across, that a programmatic way to get some part of the treasury in some point in time whenever you want to, or at least provide some intervals to the holders to express their support, their belief in whatever you're doing, by giving them an option to get out in certain time intervals. It's much more important than, hey guys, we didn't raise enough, or this is a slow rug, this is not getting the enough traction that we wanted, the buybacks, the bid walls are not working anymore, and slowly the project and the protocol dies away.
I will disagree a little bit on that. A little bit, not a lot. Because I view the buy wall as a rage quit function. I just wouldn't allow rage quitting in the first 6 or 12 months. You need to you give money to founders to build something. Even the 1 year burn rate for me is short. I understand crypto moves fast, PMF is hard. We see very quickly if you are getting in or out, but still you need to iterate, you need to work, you need to build, you need to audit, you need to onboard. 1 year is not enough. So rage quit, I like, but would I allow rage quit to happen from day one? No. Why did you even invest in this if you're gonna take your money in day one? Like, you need to give time to the founders to actually build something. So adding the buy wall today is shady as fuck. And shady. It is as shady as it is. That's it. It's not. We've discussed why I view it as shady and why I view this as a marketing stunt. But even if we had the rage quit, I would not want it enabled from day one. I
For
wouldn't
sure.
even. I wouldn't even want it in 6 months later on.
That's why I mentioned that the timed intervals. Like, you cannot have it from the beginning. You have to give some time to the team to try to execute whatever they're trying to execute. And I like the point of you making about the buybacks are essentially a rage quit mechanism, but I would like just to go to the treasury as a holder whenever that's allowed. The time window in the first once every quarter or something. Let me go there and let me claim a portion of my funds depending on how fast I want to get out. I might be paying a fee, along the way. You have to give something to get something.
Yeah, this is the 3%. The 3% is the fee.
Yeah.
The fact that you're getting a 3% under ICO is the fee. Like, that's the difference between a buy wall and a buyback. Buyback is executed by the other side. So you don't it's much. Buybacks are even shadier.
It's less ownership. You have less
Buybacks
control
are shadier.
over
I
it.
can be putting money from one pocket to the other. As a team, I can be selling the moment I'm pressing the button from the buyback, and I'll be getting the best price. While the buy wall is left a little bit on its own luck by the market. Like, I can be faster at dumping it in the buy wall than you. I don't like it. I like it more than a traditional 2017 ICO. I like it more. But I think we've gone so much. We've got so many tools. We've understanding. We've done so much experimenting. Like, giving 50% to the team, then you call it the market will decide. While 50% of the market is the team. They de-risk their lives with high salaries, and they also get token benefits on top of that. We could have done better in 10 years.
Would you say the first MetaDAO raises were better than the last three? Where the treasury was full, tokenomics were just 100%.
Yes, they were better. They were better because they were
good.
building the brand. And now you see projects are moving from other chains to capitalize on the hype. They say Solana now has better fundraising tools due to MetaDAO. No, they have better hype due to MetaDAO, and they offer you this suddenly this buy wall. We didn't have the buy wall earlier, or it was not enacted upon.
I would say we had better distribution early raises than these ones, for sure. Like, you can see, the team now has a higher location. Now you have investors allocation as well. ICO is not 100% anymore. It's 50 or less.
That's a very good point, and it makes sense because this is not a scalable way to be raising capital or launch a system that will endure the test of time. I get it. How many teams are left out there that are not scammers, that they want to ship something meaningful, they want to raise money, and they haven't raised before by investors or angels or VCs. The pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. There's already been how many MetaDAO launches? more than 5, less than 10. Chris, you want to say something?
I think it's 10 or more. Should be more than 10 now.
More than 10.
A little bit over. Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
yeah, let's say it's
around,
about 10 raises.
after the 10 launches, we've seen already the dilution in the quality criteria of the launches. We also see that practices that worked in the previous launch, they piggyback on the second launch, and slowly they become the main default of the launch, like the buybacks that became a bit wall, and now it's standard practice for who knows how we arrived to this default situation today. And the more we discuss about it, the less I like it. I know that MetaDAO is trying to push for a permissionless launches. That would be very interesting to see. I know we are working on solving this in a permissionless way, but I still like the authority token structure much better than the ownership token structure. And this is not even a good example of an ownership token, this current ICO, in my opinion at least. There's you're giving a head start to the team for everything. Even the bond that you have to post is 5 million Huru, which I don't even know what's that. You guys are better in math than me to do that.
Let's assume it's going to launch, and then rough maths, 30 cents a token.
Yeah, that's roughly $500,000 to put a proposal up with the team having a head start. Where's the ability to veto? Like, how does this work with the future at the moment?
And to add on that, like we say, they've installed the toll booth, they're getting 1% of the fees. It's very easy to track the revenue because it's crypto, and you see the, like, where does it go? Do we know? Is there a treasury? Is there a multi-sig? Is it?
They mentioned the revenue is going to go to the Futarki treasury. So I think it's a first, to be honest. And I think if the revenue can sustain the salaries, then it's a success for them. And
has it started?
They should be proud.
Have they added anything, or this is just
for MetaDAO and for themselves?
And they're going to add
the
500.
Like after DAO is created.
No, I don't think so. That's just numbers, for window shopping.
Okay. Plus, like 1%, but also is there an exchange rate? Are they saying anything about that? Is there from the USDC to
exchange
from
rate
the normal dollars to or the whatever currency they're getting paid into USDC, USDT? Is there any hidden fees? Anything we could is that all the money is going to be there? Is going to be that is going to be going to the treasury, to the raised treasury? Is there any other revenue other than the 1% toll booth?
I'm looking, and I don't know if like this is something we should
as I'm aware, no, I
really
don't think
go
so.
deep into. Like,
They just,
I think
No, I'm just saying that in a Web2 business, you'll never be sure if the revenue is 100% what you're seeing on chain. And as a Legend opened the show, said, there's no neobank that's 100% on chain. You can't. That's the whole idea, that one side of your bank is on traditional finance. So it's very hard to really audit the revenue and be sure that everything is going to the token holders, or in a treasury where token holders have ownership, or whatever they want to call it.
by the way, I just realized something. Man, this is getting like worse, more abysmal the more I look into it. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry, like for everyone watching, I'm sorry that we're kind of a bit more raw today. But yeah, it's a bit of an unfiltered episode, this one. So the fundraise goals basically is to scale distribution and sales, okay. Expand sales and customer success team, okay. A referral program, and paid campaigns. So what is this? Like, you're going to be using the funds to put it into marketing, which means more ceiling, more mind share, which means more degens aping into your project. And why? Like, you know what it reminds me? It reminds me of very shitty, super low effort grant requests from the Metaplex grants program, the Decentral grants, the grants programs, or very shitty application for a hackathon. This whole thing, the more I read it,
I think they mention it's mostly for growth. I don't think they mention a
Yep.
roadmap of
Yeah. No,
features
there's
or
no
stuff.
features. There's
I
no
might
tech.
be
There's
wrong,
no.
but it's mostly growth stuff.
So
Yeah.
since there is no tech, there's no program to be controlled by the treasury. Let me look into that a bit.
No, of course, no program controlled by. You're talking science fiction here, and you understand that this is not in Solana. This is
Sobo.
base and Silo, and now we have Vitalik saying L2s didn't really
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Sorry,
do what
guys.
they were supposed to do.
Sorry,
Maybe we
guys.
need to reconsider.
Yeah. Major balls.
Now,
Big congratulations to Vitalik for this. Like it takes like cojones to say this.
I mean, I think there's a reason he said that, which is most of the L2s didn't reach the, how do you say, the decentralized state. All of them are like in the first or second stage, which is now.
yeah.
I'm
They
looking at
never
L2
managed to
bit
be
and they
decentralized.
mostly explain this. The upgrade, the program
We call them
upgrades,
multisigs.
at Security Council,
We
stuff
call
like
them multisig.
just, I don't think they will ever move on. Yeah, we call 3 out of 4.
So, would you invest in Hurupay, guys?
I mean, overall, it's not a bad neobank. We have seen them, Surfcash, Avicii, if you as a user, you can like them and buy their, be a, let's say, a token holder. But in the ICO specifically, I don't think it's, myself, no, I'll probably buy spot
So you
price
would buy
if
because of the
I,
neobank narrative. That's your
wanna
major
support them,
driver,
let's
and
say.
outside the ICO.
I mean, in general, it's a good. It's a market that it's going down, so there's more upside when the market recovers. So it's not bad to buy spot at least. In general,
What about you, Taki? Would you invest in Hurupay?
There's so many reasons why I would not touch this. I don't like the ownership schema on this. I don't like the ICO terms. I don't like the conditions that this is launching under. I don't like the market conditions at the moment. I'm struggling to find something very positive. Like there's no program that can be controlled by the holders. There's no veto that I know that's straightforward and people can stop anything that they can see. The team having a head start and having a huge amount of the supply in their own hands. The bid walls have become a marketing stunt, which I despise. I don't like it at all. There's little that connects decision making from the holders to whatever they want to do. I don't like this at all. I would not touch it anyway. Plus, I don't think they're going to, like, we didn't talk much about this, the Thanos test. Like, if the team disappears, what happens to Hurupay if, like, we snap and the team disappears? What happens to Hurupay tomorrow? The funds have been raised.
it's a startup, so most likely it's gonna wind down. I will not consider it a DAO.
But still, it's a non. Bro, one second.
Startup.
It's an ownership coin. Ownership coins.
I think it's
are held to. Yes.
yeah, but ownership
what do
coins
you
are not
own if the
DAOs.
team
They're just
disappears?
startups.
Let me put it that way.
What's in the treasury? That's what you could theoretically get.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
much is
yeah.
going to be in the
Treasury,
treasury because of their high burn rate. Would I invest? They're doing better than many. Having the treasury controlled by whatever feature, having the treasury controlled and dissolved possibly just like Mountain Capital, having into the treasury also the revenue, or at least they claim they will do it. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I'm comparing it with the current the current narratives, the current examples of how other races are happening. We're mostly pointing out negatives, and we're not just talking about the positives where most MetaDAO fanboys would. We need to point out the negatives that you will not read on your wall. You will not see all these loud accounts talk about these points. But I have to say that I will not invest in the ICO, but I do like the neobank meta. I do like the way they are treating the treasury and adding the revenue. So if I see that treasury growing and managing to cover the team expenses, the 3 million a year burn rate, then maybe I will invest then. But before I see that, they're making 16% of what they need. I will be just checking that number.
Yeah, hopefully they will, grow with the Solana hype, MetaDAO hype, and let's see the numbers in 2 months, 3 months, and let's see if it's a good buy. And overall, like I myself use a new bank, but would I switch to Hurupay? I don't think so. But they're doing better than most for sure, and it's a good,
Yeah, I
to
agree.
look
I agree with you,
in that
Legend.
in 3 months for sure.
I also hear Taki's skepticism on ownership. We're looking things through a DAO lens, where 100% is owned by the DAO and everything is transparent, while MetaDAO is looking at it through the startup perspective, while the buy wall is counterintuitive because it's too short term. So you have these two different dimensions. One is catering for your retail investor that wants a quick flip, and if they don't get it, they can take a small loss and exit. And at the same time, you cater for those that want to see long-term revenue and growth by monitoring that statistic. How much is the burn rate? How much is in the treasury? Is this actually maintaining or sustaining itself? Congrats to MetaDAO for creating these two verticals and making them interact with each other so well. It's all marketing. There's nothing different than your classic ICO. Absolutely nothing. It's just guarantees are not going to live with tomorrow. But it's not as it seems, and it's much easier for you and better and safer to wait a little bit before you ape into this.
NFA, of course.
Of course, not
I
financial
want
advice.
to be like. I think we should wrap it up slowly. But I want to touch upon about a comment you made that we're looking this through a DAO lens. I don't think like. I think people like don't like to hear the word DAO anymore because it's been associated with major clusterfucks of the past and major mimification of the term. I want to approach this in a more, the ownership coin that was a very good terminology, a very good marketing term. But also I want to look this in the lens of authority, like which protocols tokens give you the best form of equity equals token, and how you can be as much as possible involved as a holder and get access to certain part of the decision making. I'm not saying that everybody should have a say on anything, but you should be protected properly in a programmatic way. You should have access to transparency, everything that has to do with the finances, the revenue flowing in, the treasury, the allowance, everything should be programmatically and transparent, accessible to you. And these are things that I think that MetaDAO, kicked off a good direction, like aiming to fix what was wrong of the ICOs of 10 years ago. But for some reason, the grid, the market, the effort to try and scale takes MetaDAO back to practices of 10 years ago. That's what I sense after seeing approximately more or less 10 raises now, and more the possibility of permissionless launches being around the corner. So yeah, it's not about DAO this, DAO that. I know you guys are sick of hearing this word, you guys watching. It's about understanding what access do you have to this protocol that you want to invest, what access and what power and ownership and authority this gives you over whatever is being built to the teams that you're choosing to trust your money with. And with that, that's going to be my closing statement. Any closing statements from you guys so we can wrap it up?
Mr. Legend.
I mean, if you like the product, like there's two stances to this. Like if you want to be a decision maker, you should get as much through the ICO initially. I think. If you really care about being part of the startup and really be part of the decision making and with proposals and stuff like that, you should get as much as you can. That's kind of what as investor you should do. As you know, as a speculator, you should kind of protect yourself and buy spot. I think overall the project is doing better than most in terms of transparency, but yeah, the economics are just not for me at the moment. And yeah, I'll finish with this. It's doing better than most, and it's a win for both if they can get the ICO reached. It's just not the best you could get. It's not the best scenario or situation for this, for the retail user, I'll say.
I like both your closing statements. I like that we have different opinions. I like that you both are actually right on what you're saying. I also stand somewhere in the middle where I think they're doing better than your average ICO. I don't like the buy wall. I don't like this marketing stunt of, hey, come on, retail investors, add your money, and if we don't all win, we'll win a bit more in any case. But if you don't win a little bit, you can at least exit with a small loss and not with a huge one. I'm pretty sure there is a problem somewhere in this narrative, from market manipulation to price pegging to something. There is some issue here. It can't be that easy. And I don't like the narrative of short-term funding for startups. Makes no sense. Like, you take a risk. You take a large risk, and if you actually get a unicorn, you get a huge upside. So adding that buy wall and allowing for a safe exit, there is something not working here. Someone is getting effed somewhere in the journey, and I can't pinpoint where.
You know what they say in poker, right? If you cannot find the sucker on the table, you are the sucker.
Very, very, very good point. Very good point. So yeah, I hope I'm not the sucker. That's why I'm not going to participate in the ICO. But I will be monitoring, and I will look at the treasury. If it grows at a rate that I like, I'll jump in. Keep on iterating, keep on playing, keep on adding protections, keep on giving people rights and token holders give as much authority as possible in decision making, in branding, in wherever they and in a spectrum. You think about it, you can give ownership at certain points, certain treasuries, certain operations, and none in others. So I like where this is going. I hope the Solana ecosystem sees the flaws, iterates, and becomes better. Thanks. Thank you all for tuning in. Awesome episode. Lots of insights, lots of details lots of ways that you should be thinking about the investments or your participation in protocols, projects, teams.
Yeah, guys, like, just put your brain into thinking mode and not aping mode. It helps, and I think the industry needs this more than ever. Let's see how it goes, but I think crypto needs this more than ever, like more intelligence in users, backers, investors, and everything. And let's see how it goes. We'll be here chatting about all the good and bad and the ugly, and thank you for joining this episode. See you very, very soon.